We begin this hour with a live look at Palm Beach International Airport, where in about 2 hours from now, former President Donald Trump is set to board a plane for New York City. Trump shared online that he will be leaving Mar-a-Lago at noon Eastern to head to Trump Tower. He's expected to be arraigned in New York tomorrow on criminal charges. Our Manuel Bojorquez is in Palm Beach right now, right outside of Mar-a-Lago, following this story for us. So, Manny, what have you seen this morning?
Well, already we are seeing supporters of the former president line the route here along the Causeway, which is Southern Boulevard, which leads to Palm Beach International Airport. They are holding flags and they are honking, as you can hear, in support of the former president. Again, less than 2 hours, or about 2 hours, from when he said he would depart Mar-a-Lago and go to his private plane at Palm Beach International Airport to fly to New York, overnight at Trump Tower, and then turn himself in tomorrow.
So obviously the former president's in a unique position. Most people don't have their own personal jet that they can fly to New York. But that being said, you know, he is taking his own form of transportation. He's going to be escorted by the Secret Service. Is this, in an atypical sort of case, is this typical treatment, or is he getting special treatment?
Well, as you know, as a former president, he is entitled to Secret Service protection. That is something that he always has. In fact, we saw this weekend when he went to his golf club, the Secret Service protection around him. As he was leaving that golf club, supporters lined the route there, and he even appeared to ask them to slow down so that he could have a moment with those supporters. So the Secret Service element is always there. What is unprecedented in this case is that it is a former president that will have to surrender himself in New York. So there will be logistical changes that you might not have for other defendants, just because of the need to protect him, to protect the courthouse, and because there are planned protests that are expected to happen in Manhattan.
Yeah, well, although we have showed a live picture, and it looks like a normal New York City Monday, people going to work and getting on with their lives. But let's talk about what the former president has been saying on his social media, the impact on his campaign. He's raised a lot of money off of this.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad publicity, according to the former president. This appears to be another case of that. According to his campaign, they've raised several $1 million since he posted a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I believe, about the potential of an arrest. That is according to the campaign. But I can tell you from the supporters that we've been speaking with over the last several days, there has been at least a handful outside of Mar-a-Lago, that they very much are in line with what the president has said. They believe that this is political persecution. The timing is something that they question. They say they don't believe this would have happened if the president had not announced another run for the White House in 2024. Some have carried flags calling 2024 the Vengeance Tour, and they truly believe what the former president says to them, that an attack on him is also an attack on them. So they're taking this, of course, very personal, and as the numbers are expected to grow here, the president will, of course, be seeing them as he makes his way over to the airport.
All right, Manny, it's going to get interesting. Thank you very much.